Have you ever noticed ice melting into water and milk turning into curd? Yes, both are changes. But are they the same kind of change? No, both are different kind of changes. So today we are going to explore something that is happening around us every single moment. We observe changes in our everyday life. You can observe various substances undergoing one type of change or the other. So right from the food that we eat, to the rusting of the iron, to even you growing taller every year, everything involves a change. So seeing different kinds of changes or different types of changes, here is an example of how heat changes the objects. That is, for example, ice on heating is changing into liquid, and liquid on cooling is again changing into ice. So this is an example of simple reversible change which can be reversed by change in conditions. Another example of reversible change is water changing into steam, and steam on cooling changing into water again. Then next we have the example of irreversible change. What is an irreversible change? Which cannot be reversed by change in conditions, like burning of wood, wood changing into ash and gases are released. Another example of irreversible change can be burning of magnesium wire, which burns with a dazzling white light producing magnesium oxide. So these will be classified as irreversible changes. Next, moving to slow and fast changes. So under slow changes, what are slow changes? When we are talking about the word slow, it means it occurs very slowly over days or years. Like seeds, they grow into a tree. That takes a period of time. It's not a fast process. Then fast changes occur very rapidly in seconds, like occurring of lightning. Other examples can be earthquakes and flooding. These will be classified as fast changes. So when we talk about slow changes are those which occur very slowly. We can also talk about the rotation of the earth, rusting of the iron. All these will be classified as slow changes. Then coming to periodic and non-periodic changes. What are periodic changes? The changes which occur periodically at regular intervals, like the change of seasons, sun rising, then we have different phases of moon. All these will be classified as periodic changes. Then coming to non-periodic changes which do not occur periodically at regular intervals, like the change of weather. And lastly, we have the example of desirable and undesirable changes. What are desirable changes? That produce useful results and are brought about by man or nature, like cooking of food, then milk changing into curd. All these will be classified as desirable changes. Undesirable changes again produce useless results and are again brought about by man or nature, like rusting of iron, breaking of glass. All these will be classified as undesirable changes. So we have seen different types of changes. What were those? Reversible and irreversible changes, slow and fast changes. Then we saw the periodic and non-periodic changes, and lastly we saw desirable and undesirable changes. Next, moving to the definition of a physical and a chemical change. For physical change, we have the example, you will keep in mind the example of melting of ice. So what is a physical change? A change in which the substance retains its identity and changes in form or state without altering in composition. So there is no change in the composition of the substance, only its form is changing. Like ice is changing into liquid and liquid further changes into vapor state. So that will be a simple example of a physical change. So water will retain its identity, only its form is changing from solid to liquid to gas. Then what is a chemical change? A change in which the substance loses its identity and produces one or more new substances by change in its composition. So here we have the example of burning of wood. So when wood will burn, it will lose its identity, because wood will eventually get reduced into ash and certain gases will be released in the atmosphere. So when we talk about a chemical change, always a new substance will be formed, and the original substance, its property and its identity is going to change. So this is the main point which you have to remember. You need to remember the definition. Definition is important, defining what is a physical change and what is a chemical change. Now that we have understood the different types of changes, let's see how you can identify these given pictures. Now first picture is about burning of wood. So will it be classified as a physical change or a chemical change? Think before you answer. It's a simple one. Yes, burning of wood will be classified as a chemical change. Then cooking of food, again it will be classified as a chemical change. What about the water cycle or the rain cycle? The water evaporates, form clouds and again comes down in the form of rain, and this cycle keeps on taking place. This will be classified as a simple physical change, because here no new substance is being formed. Then cutting of apple. Now I can't get the original apple back again, so this will be classified as a chemical change. And lastly, melting of ice. This will be classified as a simple physical change. Next, coming to few more examples. We have rusting of iron, burning of candle and baking of food. So rusting of iron again will be classified as a chemical change. Burning of candle will also be a chemical change. We cannot get the candle back again, because as the candle burns, the gases are released and the wax melts and we cannot get the original candle back again. And baking of food also, all the three examples will be classified as a chemical change. Okay, so let's see the differences. Let's see the differences between physical change and chemical change. Physical change is a temporary change, whereas chemical change is a permanent change. Then physical change is easily reversible, like melting of ice, the example which we have seen, whereas chemical change is not easily reversible. In a physical change, no new substances form, whereas in a chemical change, we get new substances being formed. And very important, the last difference is that the composition and properties of original substance is not altered. This is an important point when you are giving the differences between the physical and chemical changes. So composition and properties are not altered, whereas in chemical change, composition and properties of original substance is altered. So the differences and definition are very important. Please learn these differences and the definition. In differences, try to give the most important differences. Just don't leave it over here like it is temporary, permanent. Try to explain specifically in terms of that in physical change, no new substance is formed. These two are the most important differences. Composition and properties of the original substance is not altered. And in chemical, we get new substance and the composition and properties of original substance is altered. Let's see few more examples of physical change. Again, you can list out. We have melting of ice, melting of ice cream. We have boiling of water, melting of butter. All these are classified as physical changes. And in chemical changes, we have burning of wood, cooking of food, rotting of an apple. All these are classified as chemical changes. So in this chapter, you need to understand the definition, the differences, and mainly the examples. Examples are very, very important. So based on examples, in the next video, we will take few important questions and we will also do a comparison between the physical and chemical changes. I hope you have understood what a physical and a chemical change is. Please go through it and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you, students.